Hello and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Omogbe in Lagos.
For the greatest to you wherever you are in the world watching us in London, I'm Austin Okonakwan.
Yeah, Austin, it's obviously going to be a great show on a Tuesday night like this because currently Chelsea and Liverpool are in action. It's been goalless. No goals has been scored yet. And of course, you also have Leicester City, who sacked Brendan Rodgers over the weekend. They are also in action Tuesday night. And we will be talking about Monte Carlo, what's happening, the players that will not be there. Rafael Nadal, who has won it 11 times, he won't be there. Word number two, Alvarez also will not be there. Ankara's, he will also not be there. We'll also touch down on the CAF Confederation Cup, where you have Rivers United awaiting the team that they will be playing against when the draw is done on Wednesday. Also, we'll touch down on Nigerian Women's Professional Football League Premiership games for Wednesday. I'll also do a review of the games that were played in the Nigerian Professional Football League over the weekend. And of course, Benin Insurance, they're still unbeaten. 12 unbeaten run they're actually currently on now, trying to get the record that Rivers United had some time ago. We'll also be talking about Lionel Messi. The story coming from France is the fact that he may not be renewing his contract at PSG. He may leave at this particular summer. And of course, Barcelona, one of the clubs that they want him to actually come back and end his career there. So he's a loaded package tonight, Austin, on Sport Tonight.
Loaded package, Cecilia. It's good to be on the show once again. What a story. Lionel Messi and the fans at PSG. I don't know what's going on, what happened to the love, but somehow it will be good to see Messi go back to Barcelona, but that's also a very difficult deal to pull through.
Yeah.
But let's see, Barcelona truly wants their legend to return. It will be good. You mentioned that we'll have action going on in the English Premier League. Chelsea, they're trying to pick themselves back up after what happened with Graham Potter. Arguably biggest setback Chelsea has suffered as a club under a manager, and now they're trying to show some character against Liverpool. That game right now, half-time, it's still goalless. Some other results going on right there in the English, right here in the English Premier League. Leeds United 2, Nottingham Forest 1. Leeds United, they need to start putting themselves together. Cecilia, I tell you, the fight to survive relegation will be as intense as the fight to win the league title.
Obviously, it's going to be a very tough one. But then Austin will not be doing the talking alone because Kende Idris is right here in the studio. It's a Tuesday, and of course, he came down today.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Austin looking sharp. Love your zebra design, dress right there. So with the way you guys started to unpack, I think I'm already getting, in that mood. So it's going to be a lovely one.
All right, Austin, let's start off with this one. Rafael Nadal and Ankara is talking about world number 2. He lost his world number 1 ranking. We know Novak Djokovic didn't go to the US because of coronavirus issues. He's not been vaccinated, and of course we expected Ankara to actually win the Miami Open, but somehow in the semifinals he fell short because of injury. Yannick Sinner won it, but Medvedev was the one who triumphed at the end of the day. So now he has pulled out of Monte Carlo. So we have Novak Djokovic back to number 1, but Rafael Nadal is still not fit to play after he injured at the Australian Open. I mean, he's been a long time. At first, we thought he was just going to be out for 6 weeks, but now it's looking like he may not even be fit for the French Open.
I don't think he wouldn't be fit for the French Open. He's actually trying to have enough rest before the French Open. He loves playing at the Monte Carlo Masters because that's for Rafael Nadal signals the start of the clay court where he's so dominant. But he has said, look, he needs enough rest, Cecilia. He has also said that this is towards ensuring that he's not just fit, but competitive enough for the French Open. And if he does go to the French Open and win, he will overtake Novak Djokovic in the all-time Grand Slam, titles, winning 23. So for me, I think we should let Rafael Nadal just chill. He's 36, still has a lot of power play, and so he doesn't want to go to the French Open and not compete for the title. Where I'm, a bit worried is Alcaraz. I wanted to see him compete, at this and take that form into Roland Garros. But it is what it is. They've said it's due to injuries and that they need to get better for the competition.
Oh, Kenny, mean, when you look at Rafael Nadal, I mean, when the news came out this morning, this afternoon, that he will not be, he would not be fit for Monte Carlo. I mean, the story was like, okay, the French Open, I mean, he has won it how many times? 14 times. So that's, I mean, record extent. No one has ever done that. And then story also breaking out that Carlos Alvarez also would not be in Monte Carlo, and this is where the European swing of the clay court, starts. And of course, this is more like this is a build-up to the French Open, although you also have the Roman stars coming up. When you look at this thing, Rafael Nadal not being there, Rafael Nadal has dropped to number 14. I think this is the first time in history having like, for how many now on 12 weeks now is not on top of it. I mean, we've always had him in top 10
in that
right now. He's out of top 10. 36. Austin said, I mean, maybe it's time.
Why a lot of persons will look at it as probably it's time. This was how I started with Federer, where injuries, niggling injuries, recurring relapse, and all of that. We kept feeling, okay, we'll come for this competition, play one, play two, and then go for another, weeks and all of that. So it's looking like a path we've all, been through with Roger Federer, and now we're seeing it with Rafael Nadal. Every time, whenever a sportsman or woman hits 30, we start to have those bother, especially the power players, whether it's football, basketball, or whatever sport. For Rafael Nadal in tennis, we understand power is one of his, a strong point. When you're talking Roger Federer, it comes with a lot of finesse and all of that. So when you find players like that, when those power starts to dwindle, some worries, you're talking shoulder injury, foot injury, those are, points of the body uses for his game mostly. So when this thing starts to have recurring, relapses when it comes to injury, then the worry starts to set in. Like I always say, I think he will look back at 2022 with the way 2021 ended. He will look back at 2022 and say, thanks to whichever being that he looks up to, whether, God and all of that. So it was a beautiful year. And then 2023, almost starting like that, but, the fire went off and the injuries, starts to set in. To look at January, and we're already in April, and we're seeing Austin snipe it off, Rafael, since, the January competition, talking about the Aussie Open. So it's a worry. But I think a lot of us are already looking at, okay, we've enjoyed these guys enough. Consistency has been massive. I think Carlos Alcaraz is getting us more worried. Carlos has also been one in recent time that will get one, leave one. That is, injury will set in while he's playing one. And the man is looking as fantastic. Already, some people are tagging that this might just be, the one who takes over from Rafael Nadal. Is also very powerful. Comes with a bit of finesse, but power is one of the things. And he's also Spanish. So we're seeing everything in Carlos Alcaraz. I want to see him do more, because one of the things that we enjoyed about Djokovic, Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, and some other players is consistency. They gave us that thing to look forward to. So for anybody in that rank to beat them is always story, because they've shown a lot of, and Carlos Alcaraz is one that has also shown us in recent time he can go all the way, saying, I don't just want to win Grand Slams. I want to be at the top. At that summit, world number one for a long, long while. I want to see that, not a player who is going in and out of injuries.
Yeah, I think because of that traumatic arthritis that he talked about, that injury that he talked about in the left hand muscle, that's the reason he will not be in Monte Carlo. As you mentioned, hopefully, I think for the men, or the men and women in tennis right now, I think it's safe because you have lots and lots of young players that are coming up.
Why I don't really, sometimes, I love the female sport, but for tennis, the inconsistency always threw me away.
Okay, all right. So we'll leave it there and go to CAF Confederation Cup. Of course, we'll be talking about this one because quarterfinals all set. We know the teams that are in the quarterfinals. Rivers United couldn't get a win against ASEC Mimosa when they went to the Yamoussoukro on Sunday night. They lost by a long goal. Remember when ASEC Mimosa came to Nigeria, came to Port Harcourt University, Rivers won 3-0, but they just couldn't get anything. But here are the quarterfinalists, all set now. We have all of them set for the quarterfinals. And of course, quarterfinalists are ASEC Mimosa from Cote d'Ivoire, Asfa Club of Morocco. You have Marumo Gallants of South Africa and the Pyramids of Egypt. These are the teams for the quarterfinals. Flip over to the next one and talk about other teams that are in there. That's where you have Rivers United from Nigeria. USM Alger from Algeria, US Monastir of Tunisia, and of course, Young Africans from Tanzania. These are the teams for the quarterfinals. And when you look at all these teams, we know that most of them are actually, I mean, Rivers couldn't top their group because of that virtue of the loss that they suffered against ASEC Mimosa. Now, if you want to look at these teams that are here, I mean, you don't have a small team. US Monastir of Tunisia, we know how big they are. Young Africans also another big team. Pyramids, another big team. Gallants of South Africa were not so much of a big team when it comes to South African League, but then Aswa of Morocco, another big team. So for Rivers United, any draw will obviously not be easy for them.
No draw will be easy. And also, sometimes when we look at qualification and all of that, how do you qualify is another thing we talk about. When teams are fighting to, be at the top of their group, is the fact that you play teams from who are second from the other group. And that is, one of the incentives for topping your group. It won't just be all of the top teams, you can see them on one side, and then, the second place teams all. So Rivers United already know they will get a team that topped their group. And when you top your group, everybody understands you must have done something fantastic to be there. So Rivers, whether they play even the second place teams, it's a tough one already. But you don't expect to get to points like this. This is the continental competition, and you're talking the second top competition in Africa when it comes to football. This is the CAF Confederation Cup. Nothing from this point, quarterfinals, in like, say, 6 games, you will be the winner of the CAF Confederation Cup. You play double leg of the quarterfinals, double leg of the semifinal, and then you play the final. In some cases, double leg. In some cases, one leg. You know how CAF can be very funny.
Whatever they come up with.
At this point, you understand it's either you go for it or you're out. So Rivers, whichever team, whether you're playing the weakest team, they are not here by chance. They are here by consciously doing something right. So Rivers, you have your work cut out. What do you have to do? Go for it head on, and it's as simple as that. No minors, there is no shortcut. You just must play double leg in the way that you want to win the championship. So with what we know of Rivers United, with what they've done in recent, I think they have everything it takes to take on any of this team if they are willing to.
Let's go to London, Austin.
I know, Cecilia, I totally agree with Kende Idris. At this stage of the competition, the quarterfinals, no small teams, because I was taking a look at the quarterfinalists and I was saying, what team can I give to Rivers United? And I had to say none. That's why I was so pissed when they couldn't beat Diabo Noah in Uyo. That game ended 2-2. You see, there's just something about finishing top on your table. That's what your next opponent will use to assess you, And when you finish top of your table, it brings some respect. Take, for instance, Young Africans of Tanzania, that I was thinking that's the team that Rivers United can match. No, I don't think so anymore, because if you take a look at the Group D table, they topped it ahead of US Monastir of Tunisia. And they finished on the same points. But do you know that in that same group, there was Real Bamako and TP Mazembe? So to tell you, for them to finish on top of that group, then they played good football. Let's go to Group C, where there's Asfa of Morocco that topped that group with 11 points. Pyramids of Egypt followed with the same 11 points. We're just coming from Group D, where it was 13-13. Group C, 12-12. Now Group B, where we had Rivers United. ASEC Mimosa finished with 13 points, and Rivers United ended with 10 points. Now you see why I worry, but this is football where anything can happen. While in Group A, Gallants of South Africa, I'm sure this is where a lot of persons are just hearing about this club from South Africa. But guess what? They topped Group A with 12 points, and USM Alger followed with 11 points. It tells you how competitive it will be at the quarterfinal stage. So nothing like I topped my group and I finished second. You need to come out and play very good football to make it to the semis. And I hope that Rivers United have learned one or two things from the group stage. I'm sure they will have some monies in their accounts now from CAF that will motivate them. The Rivers State government can also do more to motivate them, and then hopefully they can go on in the competition.
Yeah, it's really key because if they miss, I mean, all you have to do just win it against the semifinals. As you mentioned, you have many games to be in the finals, home and away four, and of course the finals depends on what CAF will do. If they're going to play maybe in a one-center neutral venue or play home and away, I don't know why can't we just have a straight way of the CAF Confederation Cup, Austin? Sometimes I get confused trying to analyze when and how the finals will be played. You're laughing, isn't it?
I know, yeah, but I mean, but change is inevitable. So
Oh, really?
I'm sure
Okay.
CAF understands why they are moving it around. For instance, a lot of persons like that the last season's final was played at the Gospel Akpabio Stadium in Uyo. It was a good one for Nigeria. Nigeria didn't get to play the final, but it was done in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what CAF is trying to do. Take the football around.
Okay. I hope they can do that
But
and just stick with one.
Earlier.
And yes, announce it
let
earlier.
us know.
So we know this is the format. This is how it will go.
The case of Al-Ahly and Esperance is still very much burning in the hearts of Al-Ahly fans, saying it was at the semi-final where you have Esperance being involved, and then you declared that the home of Esperance is where the final will be staged. And that was the first time you're even switching to a one-leg final. So it's a whole lot to unpack.
All right, maybe next season we'll have a better calendar, we'll have a better view of how finals will be. Just like you have the UEFA Champions League, you know that the final will be in Istanbul, and everyone start preparing for that particular country, those that want to go watch the finals. All right, we'll leave in the CAF Champions League and talk about Nigeria Professional Football League games that were played over the weekend. I mean, it was a goal fest. Yes, so many goals were scored. Why midweek while we're looking for goals? It was hard, but it was a goal fest. Bayelsa happens to be the one who had 5-1. Let's take a look at these games coming from these teams. And of course, starting with the one with Plateau United and Benin Insurance. Now, this particular game ended 1-0. Someone mentioned in the studio that maybe Benin Insurance, their luck is going to run out when they go to Jos. But somehow, the luck is still on. It was another draw. That's their third draw in a row. Aqua Eimba and now Plateau United. And for them, it wasn't an easy win for Benin Insurance. We'll talk more about this game to do the analysis. Remo Stars and Gobe United, this game ended goalless. Kwara United and 3SC. Now, this was the game that we didn't expect the result on how it eventually pans out, but somehow 3SC were able to get a win. 94th minute, I think that's when the only goal was scored. Aqua United and Eimba. Aqua United winning Eimba, of course. After 2 draws, they couldn't continue in that. They lost to Aqua United, who had a draw against Insurance at the midweek. For Group B, the games you're looking at happens to be that of Bayelsa United and, of course, Abia Warriors. Now, Alex Owoya, who scored a brace in this particular one. Now, funny enough, all the goals we actually scored in first half. Abia Warriors, Lukman Bello scored their only goal in the 43rd minute. And so second half, they couldn't score goals. All the goals scored in the first half. Doma United and Niger Tornadoes was 2-1. Wiki Tourists and Dakada FC 3-1. And Rangers and Lobby Stars. Rangers, of course, they had to rescue a point from them because they were already a goal down before they were able to get a win. Godwin Obajo rescued a point for them to be able to get that point. Now, let's analyze the result first before we look at the group the way it's looking at. If you look at Benin Insurance, for instance, that's the game we'll focus on. For Benin Insurance, that game against Plateau United, it was going to be a difficult game for them. After 2 draws, you expect that maybe they could bounce back, but somehow draw away, draw at home, and they went away again. It was another draw for Insurance. Are they going that way, or maybe?
I think sometimes you're a victim of your own standards.
Yeah.
For Bendel Insurance, the way they've blown away teams, the way they picked wins at the start of the season, the very first game, I think that was how they announced themselves to, football-loving fans in Nigeria. After they beat Aqua United at home, everybody started taking notes. And then they built on that. I think they picked a lot of confidence from that game, went on to win games both away and at home. But in the last 3 games you just mentioned, Aqua United being involved, Eimba being involved, these are top teams in Nigeria. And if on a very good day, Aqua United, Bendel Insurance is actually getting a draw against these teams, it would have been a massive one. But for the fact that Bendel Insurance have actually, run far, blown teams away. Everybody felt, you are a big team now. You should have, win in one of these games or something. But these are top teams in the Nigerian Professional Football League. For me, at this point where it has gotten really serious, for Bendel Insurance to continue to rescue points from these games, I think is a fantastic one. This is the hallmark of a winner. You know those games where you need to win, and you know those games that is so tough, but you need to pick something out of those games, and that is what they did with these games. And for trust me, drawing Eyimba, drawing Akwa United, with the way things stand, Bendel Insurance are building a beautiful momentum, a momentum that will take them into the Super Six and all of that. Because now they've stared in the eyes of big teams. Some have said, maybe if we take out Rivers United, some of the teams that can rescue, that can win the league is actually in Group A. And if you stared in the face of those teams, Aqua play to Eyimba, then you're already looking at playing the top teams when the playoffs get to take center stage. So Bendel Insurance are putting themselves in a good stead, psychologically wise. That is, they have the momentum built up right there in their head. We play these teams, why can't we go? So when you play teams from Group B, Rivers United, Lobby Stars, probably any team here, I think they have enough to take them out. So the teams they will be scared of are teams they played two games over in their group. So Bendel Insurance is a fantastic one, and I can't wait to see how they handle games in the Super Six.
Austin, in that game, Plateau United scored first. It was Izuchukwu Chimezie who scored in the 43rd minute before Deputy Echeta Ogona was able to score in the 72nd minute for Insurance to get a point away in Jos. What do you think about this result for Insurance? Is it a good one?
A good one for Bendel Insurance, but they need to worry now because it's 3 draws in a row, and they need to start getting those wins. Because if you take a look at the Group A table, Aqua United, with that good run now, closing down, Eyimba will still come into reckoning in that group. There's also Remo Stars. So Bendel Insurance needs to start winning. It's good when you are not losing, but when you start getting just 1 point, and your opponents are getting 3 points, they're going to catch up with you. But you know what? Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we're going to listen to the coaches' reactions, and then we'll get more from the Nigeria Premier Football League. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
All right, let's take a listen to the coach of Bendel Insurance, Mode Odige, reacting to the game against Plateau United.
Top class game. Plateau United was in the continent last year. I saw them play against the Libyan team. So you cannot come to a team like this and play without respect. You have to fight. We are new in the NPFL. If we are not at our best, we just might be our biggest undoing. So what we try to do is, like we said, we played a game last weekend. We checked our flaws, we tried to correct, and then one thing is very, very, very clear. If you do not fight, you do not get anything. So that's exactly what we've tried to do from game to game. But like I said, the owners of the team have their targets, but as a technical person, it's just one game after the other one. What we try to do, like you said, is we don't even know if the team is unbeaten. For every game we're going to play, we try to come out our best, and we give it our shot and pray that God just, rewards our effort. That's what we do. I'm not under any pressure. The team just came in from the lower league, so if you want to be realistic, you should know what to do. You try to stabilize your team while you fight for what is at stake.
Just fight, act as if every game is a fresh one. You're not counting the unbeaten run. So it's like they're not dreaming so much, Austin. They're just taking one game at a time. Not dreaming much. Is that the way to go?
Well, now on top with 26 points. So even if they lose their next game, they will still be on top of the table. So it's just a testament of the good start that they had to the season, and they're still unbeaten after 12 games. But you cannot tell me that is not worried. Yes, they're taking it one step at a time. You want to commend them for that draw against Eyimba. You also want to commend them for that draw against Aqua. But the draw, I think, against Gombe United, you would ask questions about that draw in Benin. Yeah. You would also commend them for this draw against Plateau United. The fact that they keep coming back, they concede and they always come back, that's a good show of character. But as it is, they need to start winning, because Aqua United is closing in on them, Remo Stars, and even Plateau United. See Aqua United on 22 points now, so it's 4 points difference. And then there is Remo Stars on 21 points and Plateau United on 18. And remember, it's the top 3 from this group that will, go to the Super 6. So I understand where it's coming from, but he needs to be worried. They need to start winning. Let's listen to a reaction coming from Plateau United right after that one against Bendel Insurance.
Well, that is football for you. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, or you draw. So we lost. We came back with the hope that, yes, we are going to get the 3 points. But that is the black and white for you. We drew, sharing the points with Bendel Insurance. We will get it right. Go back to the drawing board, we're going to get it right. Subsequent matches will scale through. They have a good team. They have a very good team. They are solid in defense. Very good. And they are good in attack.
The United assistant coach Maurice Longiap talking about that game between them and Bendel Insurance, and he was commending Bendel Insurance. Kende Idris, everyone is commending Bendel Insurance. Will they end this average season unbeaten?
I think we'll wait and see. Like Odige said, we're not even looking at the unbeaten. We do not even follow those records. But the simple fact is, we just go into games wanting to play well and get the best results we can. In the tough ones, we get a draw. In the ones that we, do enough, we get to win. So that is the most important. But going unbeaten, I think that would be beautiful. But one of your biggest undoing will be thinking about it as a team, whether you're part of the coaching crew or you're part of the players and all of that. The moment you put it at the back of your mind, okay, we need to finish the season unbeaten, I think that might just be another problem. Just go into every game like you want to win, you want to, in the worst case scenario, draw. And that is you racking up points. And then those who record, who keep those stats, will continue to write their own stats. For you, is getting all the points you can get from every game. For the easy ones, or the ones you get to handle so well, get all 3 points. For the very tough ones, don't lose, get 1 point. And that will just be, what Bendel Insurance will need to do. If we sit here and we're talking about it, that is what they want. This is our own job. We will talk about the records. But for them, they just want to do enough, get to the playoffs, and who knows, they can just win the Premier League this season.
Okay, all right, Austin, let's take a look at what the table is looking like right now. And it's a Bridge League table. Group A, Bendel Insurance, of course, after 12 games, they're still topping. But why it's funny is they've had more draws than any other team this season. 5 in all. They're yet to lose, but games they've won is 7 with 5 draws, and the points 25 goal difference of 10, which is high. You have Aqua United second right there, 12, 6, 4, 2, 7, and of course 22. That's the points they are having with 6 wins. That's why we said they should be careful, because if you look at Insurance, just 1 win ahead of Aqua United. Remo Stars are third, so you're looking at the Super 6 now. There's 3, but you have Aimba Plateau United right there in 4th and 5th. Nasura and Ekanemi Warriors, where Ekanemi Warriors managed to get their 2nd win of the season. Of course, it was at the expense of Nasura United. That game was played on a Saturday, so both of them won just 2 games this season. And if you flip over to Group B, what is looking like, Lobby Stars are still topping the group because Rivers United, they've got games in hand. They've been on the continent. That's the reason they're having that. By the end of the day, you have them on 20 points. That's why playing 11 games and 6 wins. 2 draws and 3 losses and goal difference of 5. I think the goals are actually scarce when it comes to this group. Rivers United, of course, second. You have Doma United. Now, when you look at Doma United, Austin always want to talk about this team because of what they've done this season. You don't expect to have other teams like Rangers in this particular group, and you're having a team like Doma United in 3rd. After 12 games, they are on 19 points. They won 5 games this season, 4 draws and 3 losses. So Bayelsa United and Dakada, they are the ones that are at the bottom. That's why Bayelsa United were angry and they scored 5 over the weekend. They need to get those goals and see how they can climb up. At the end of the day, they've won just 2 games. This is the same with Dakada, but then the draws they're having is 6. Just Insurance are the only ones that have had they are the ones that have more draws than Insurance. Then on the losses were 4, and of course for Dakada, 8. Austin, when Dakada were promoted to the NPFL, they were just like Doma United, trying to rub shoulders with the big boys, beat some big teams. But now when you look at Dakada FC, I mean, it's not. This is not what you want to see from a team that started so well when they were promoted to the Premier League.
I totally agree, Cecilia, and that's why some persons will still be beating themselves over this abridged league season, because it does something to teams psychologically, not just Dakada. Take, for instance, Kwara United, that did so well last season, finished in the top four, went to the continent. Look at them struggling right here with this abridged league season. That's why we keep telling officials that we cannot continue this way. You have a good season, and then we build and we destroy. So for Dakar, they would have been hoping to sustain the momentum, and then here comes an abridged league. And look at what we're seeing. Look at Doma United, a newly promoted side. They just had it at the back of their head that, look, try to finish in the top three. Some teams are like that, and it works better for them. Some teams want to build. Look at Nasarawa United, a team that did so well about 2 seasons ago, and we're hoping to see them continue in that line. Now they are struggling. So, but for Dakada, I think it's done. They weren't ready for this season. Teams go to you beat them easy, pick points, away points from them, and they like it the way it is. But also United try to prove a point to us that, look, we are here to compete with the way they pushed aside Abia Warriors 5-1. But look at it now. What can they really do with that result? And we are counting down to the end of the regular season with this abridged talk. Then look at Shooting Stars. Same with Shooting Stars. That's the sort of team that we expect that they will come and with their pedigree do some things. But you can tell that the abridged league season also affected them. So, yes, it's quite sad with the way Dakada is playing, but I've adopted Doma United in peace. And that's my team.
Kehinde, your mouth is open.
Austin, Aqua United, you have enough team, Aqua United and Dakada, and on international TV. But it's fine. Like you said, any winner has got a lot of family. Austin has just joined the Doma United family. I think Doma United reminds me of what Remo Stars did last year. But the difference is the fact that Remo have had a Premier League experience. It was just that they got relegated. Doma does not. The only thing, like Austin said, Doma is just dreaming. And they are looking to make that dream into a reality by playing every game as good as they can. See, sometimes when you have nothing at stake, when you have nothing to lose, you're the most dangerous setup. And that is what, if Doma gets relegated, nobody will bat their eyelids. It will just be, okay, they came and they went. But for teams that they are playing, they've got enough at stake. As Shooting Stars, as big as they went to relegation, came back, we're still calling them a big team. So if anything happens to 3SC, it will be on the front page of newspapers. It will be talked about on shows. So they have stuff at stake. For Doma, continue to dream. Go out and play every game and see if this dream will become a reality. If it doesn't become, it's a case of dog biting a man. It's not a case of a man biting a dog. So whichever way it goes, you're a winner.
All right, let's take a look at Nigeria Women's Professional Football League, the games that will be played on Wednesday. Of course, you have so many games that will be played. We'll start with Group A, where you have Bayelsa Queens and Royal Queens. They'll be in action. Bayelsa Queens, I think they've lost one game this season. Delta Queens is the game that they're still unbeaten this season against Oshun Babes. Niger Rattles and Rivers Angels. Rivers Angels not having a fantastic season, but they'll be up against Niger Rattles in Abuja. Group B, the games we have is some of the games we have from Group B. You have Abia Angels and Confluence Queens. Adamawa Queens and Edo Queens will also be in action. Robo Queens and Ibom Angels will also be in action. That game will be in Lagos. Remember when the season started, Edo Queens went away. Adamawa came, and of course, Edo were able to get that victory. But this time around, we don't know what's going to happen in this game. But for the league, which one will get you talking? They have those blockbuster games this midweek.
Robo Queens, Ibom Angels would, definitely get my attention because one way or the other, I love this team. Not because it's from Lagos, but for the fact that they've produced superstars for Nigeria. You can talk about Ziza, you can talk about Rashida. We're talking Esther Oyenezi, the Gift Monday. So the names are almost, there. It's just like a testament to the good work that they do in that club. And so I always look forward to Robo Queens. Also, they are not having the kind of fantastic season. When you take out the likes of Rivers Angels, Bayelsa, Nasarawa at the point is one of them. You will talk about Robo Queens, but this season they've also been struggling. And they seem like they are getting their way back. So against the Bomb Angels, who can also be very topsy-turvy, not here, not there. I think they should be able to do enough. Abia Angels, Conference Queen. Conference Queen are another team you don't want to shut your eyes against while you're playing them. They are not super good, but they are here to ruffle feathers. So I think in Group B, these are games that will get my attention. In Group A, Delta Queens would always, this season, get everybody looking at them. Because if you have not lost a game, then you're doing something good. When you're doing something good, everybody wants to be a part of the story. So I would have my eyes on Delta Queens, playing, tomorrow at the end of the NPFL.
All right, Austin, let's quickly get your reaction on this before we take live results coming from the Premier League.
Yeah, Cecilia, I just want to see what Rivers Angels can do against Niger Raitels. And for Rivers Angels, it's so difficult to explain what's happening to that team. For a team with so much, quality players with rich tradition women's football in Nigeria. You take a look at the Group A table and you're looking for Rivers Angels, and you find them in fourth position, and you're saying, what's Rivers Angels doing there? So I'd like to see them pick their season back up, do something away from home, and then get it on from there. So that's just it for me with the Nigeria Women's Football League. Let's come right here in England, Cecilia.
Yes.
I tell you the story for Leicester City. No Brendan Rodgers, but more problems, because right there at the King's Power Stadium, they are losing by 2-1 to Aston Villa. And that game is rounding up now. Dewsbury Hall got a red card for Leicester City, and that was how their problem started. Now, Bertrand Traore has scored a late goal for Aston Villa, and as it's looking, it seems like it's going to be back-to-back away wins for Aston Villa. Beautiful.
Interesting when we just heard from what Austin said. I mean, interesting games are coming from the
I think
Premier League.
For me, for Leicester, their problem isn't Brendan Rodgers. What kind of business did the management do over the summer and the winter windows? They lost a lot of key players during the summer, especially goalkeeper Schmeichel. When they lost him, trust me, his replacement is nothing close to, doing anything that man does for Leicester. Sometimes you undermine what an individual brings to the table until that individual isn't there. And we saw how well, so many games, Schmeichel would have saved Leicester. But for the kind of goalkeeper they have this season is another case. So many names like that. You have the likes of Einacho Patson Daka. Because Vardy isn't available. We're not having that goal, king. So Leicester's problem is way more than coach. I think the management should look
not
into
just coaching.
Yeah.
All right, of course, the story we talked about of Lionel Messi likely to leave at the end of the season. So Austin, just wrap this up for us and we leave.
And I told you, I really can't understand what's going on between Lionel Messi and those fans in PSG, because they welcomed him. He's the GOAT. They got a sponsorship that has the GOAT on their jersey, and everybody seems to like it. And then suddenly this love affair is ending when we don't expect it to end. So, but that's football for you. I'd like to see him go back to Barcelona, but as I said, that might just be very, very difficult. But what's there not to love about this guy? I don't know what's going on, but it is what it is. For the game between Chelsea and Liverpool, it's still goalless. While Brighton, they are doing just enough to get another away win because they are 2 goals up right there at Bournemouth. Cecilia, I think that's the show for me right here in London. Austin Okonakwan, in everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
Yeah, Kende, thank you so much for coming on the program.
It's always good to be here on the show.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a great night, right?